All right, today we are going to talk about how to get a little bit better organized when forming your practices and forming your daily agenda of what you want your players to accomplish that day. So, what helps me is just to stay organized, and I'll show you a few things that have helped me over the years. Um, I've got this list prepared that I actually have gone to a digital form of this copy, but I started off so many years ago having a notebook and a bunch of copies of this in a notebook, and I would simply put the date up here of the fundamental that we used, and then I would make my way and check off what's needed to be checked off. And the whole concept about this is, and I'll walk you through it. The whole concept is to have a sheet of every fundamental for defense, and I've got a team defensive one I'll show you, as well as a hitting fundamental breakdown sheet. And you can go back over it, and throughout the days, you can look at it and see what you may have neglected to work on with your players throughout the course of the season or the off season. So you can see right here, this is my catching fundamental sheet. Uh, we break it down into receiving, blocking, throwing, and then our specialty drills right here. Again, if we worked on receiving that day and we worked on framing and funneling, I would, come in here and put an X. I'd put the date right here. If we did machine receiving that day, I'd do an X, and then maybe on blocking, maybe we blocked and recovered that day, did a shadow drill, and hit him some fungos to fungo block. And then if we threw that day, maybe we had a heavy session throwing a second base. Maybe we did some dry exchanges before for our pre-throwing routine. Maybe we did some rapid exchanges and played some quick toss uh, before practice and part of our throwing program to get ready. So as I go back and over the days and I look at that, the date would be right here, and I would see all these different X's in the box. And then next time I play in the practice, I knew we hit on that pretty well. And if you saw my paper notes, I also like to make notes on the paper copies and maybe positives or negatives for each player that may need to hit on again. And maybe we haven't done rapid fire or bare hand in a while, so our next catcher workout, maybe we would hit this and we would hit this. So all this would add up. That just helps me as a coach figure out exactly what I need to cover to build the total player, not just the stuff that I like to do or they like to do. So that's the catching sheet right there. As you can see, moving down here, we've got the same thing for first baseman. Most of our infielders, you'll see we break it down into the throwing aspect right here, and then the repetitions as far as ground balls or fly balls, and then every one of my infield positions will get a first base like first base individual drills. All the infielders will have their individual stuff right here. Basic stuff like bag work, dirt balls, blocks, high throws, delay steals, what to do on that. We'll hit them fungos on the bag, holding runners, and then anything that I might think of that's not on this sheet, we always have a space down here for other drills, other fundamentals. Moving to third base, when we have the same sheet for that, it starts out positioning, ready positions, and then again, you've got your throwing drills right here, our repetition work for them right here, and then we've got third base individual drills right here. Individual drills for third baseman, bunts, balls left, plays from the outfield, covering the bag, balls in the line, uh, foul ball fence drill, have them not be afraid of the fence over there. Moving on to the middle infield section right here. Again, positioning is huge for us. Ready positions. Then we'll get all of our fundamental stuff done for middle infielders. Again, throwing and repetitions. We break that up into different individuals for individual drills for middle infielders. That's a little bit different. A lot of stuff to cover there. And then we've got our individual drills. We also call those our IDPs, our individual defensive position drills. So, things like double play feeds, flips, holding runners, covering steals, tags, picks, pick-off fundamentals, as well as our pick-off plays individually. Delay steals, relay footwork, all those are crucial for developing your middle infielders. You can go on the outfield right here, and again, I would just check all these boxes as we do them at the end of every single day. One thing I can stress is don't check this stuff off before practice, because you really don't know that you're going to get to it. You may spend a little bit of extra time on one thing and not have a chance. It may start raining. In the spring, we may have a lightning or thunder delay out of nowhere. So I would go back, and that's part of my post-practice stuff that I get done, whether it's later on at the house after I reflect on what we've done that day, or whether it's, before I leave the park, I'll go and I'll check all this stuff off. So I break our outfield into, again, positioning is huge for outfielders, ready positions, and then we've got fly ball work, our ground ball work, our throwing work, and then our specialty stuff down here for outfitters would entail stuff like fungos off a bat, live BP, play in the sun. We've got some great multi-skill drills that we do involving cones and a lot of different positions and movements and angles. Fungos off the machine. I love our two-line communication drill. We have two lines, either simulated outfield and outfield converging, or the outfielder infielder converging. I love that drill for our outfielders. We try to get that done once or twice a week. We also have a list for pitchers right here. And I've got probably more pitching sheets than anything else, because throughout the course of the whole school year and over the course of the whole calendar, you're going to work your pitchers more. You can see the things that we get done from a fundamentals standpoint. We want to touch on all these things as much as we can. Or again, part of the great thing about keeping records, you can go back and look at the last time that we discussed our sign system and our locations. Our pitching philosophy, because you want to engrave those and make that part of your culture and just not part of a game plan. Here's all the different styles of bullpen work that we do, whether it's, pre-game or the day before a game, or whether it's in the off season. We want to document this stuff and to see exactly what our pitchers are doing. We've got three basic drill patterns that we do without a ball in hand. We've got a mechanical drills that we do. We call it drill series number 1, and then we've got 2 different curveball routines. And we really love tracking that, because I get just as bad as anybody else. We want to put a ball in our hand all the time instead of sometimes slow down and break down and really feel what our body's doing without a ball, so we can have that muscle memory for our mechanics. PFPs, pitcher fielder practice, we fill this chart up, and again, this is if nothing else for pitchers, this really helps you keep tabs on what exactly you've done defensively for your pitchers, especially if you're at a small school and your position players are mainly your pitchers. Well, you're probably going to get in the habit of getting in that same rut of practicing mainly at their positions, and overlook the fact that when they get on the mound, they're actually the first fielder. There's a number 1 beside their name for a reason. It all starts with them not only getting the ball across the plate, but they're involved in so many plays. We've got to prepare those guys for success defensively once they get on the mound, and this list and the tally sheet that we prepared helps us keep track of what we've done. We also have an arm care sheet. That's just some of the things that we do for arm care. Again, we load this list up. Most of this stuff will be checked off just about every other day. We make it a goal, arm care-wise, that we don't want to go 2 days in a row without checking these off, because we really take care of the arm, and we really have a lot of pride in putting the kids in a good position, not only to be successful, to be healthy. The best ability in baseball is availability, and I truly believe in our arm care program and what exactly we do. Moving down here, this is the team defensive sheet that I spoke of earlier. It works the same way. This is all team related. When's the last time we did rundowns? We did that today. Maybe we'll check that off. If we look and we have it practice, early break defense in about 1 or 2 weeks, and we look up and we lose a game on an early break, you can go back and you're going to find the correlation to the neglect of working on the small things like that to losing you a ball game. So again, our job as coaches is to put players in the right position. A lot of this stuff isn't the most fun to do at practice, but it's the stuff that's going to win you and lose you baseball games. And if you have a running log of all the stuff that you're trying to prepare your guys for in competition, it's really going to help you get a leg up. And the last but not least, I've also got a sheet for hitting here. Um, Once again, I use this more in the off season when we're preparing hitters and we're trying to get that base foundation than I do during the season. I really don't talk about mechanics a lot during the season. I'll be honest. I'm a believer in once the season comes, we need to work on confidence more than anything. We need to work on approaches more than anything. And let me go back and find that hitting sheet here is and we need to work on scouting reports and making adjustments from game to game and swing to swing. If you're going into the season and you're trying to build a swing for the 3 or 4 months of the season, you're probably off on the wrong foot. I believe that those fundamentals are really learned and fortified in the off season, and that's what we try to do for our hitters. This sheet certainly pays dividends for us in the off season, be it the fall or winter or summer, so we can keep track of exactly what drills and what routines we've established for our hitters. Um, just take you from the top here, you can see we've got certain T drills, soft toss drills, front toss drills, just some others, some kind of gadgets that we have that we'll throw in there to challenge our players, and then all the different stuff we do on the field. We don't ever want to really, take the approach in BP, just, see how far we can hit it and let's get into a home run derby. We're always trying to have some kind of structured BP on the field, something that's going to put our guys in a game-like situation, at least mentally, to prepare for whatever we have coming up in the next day or so for competition. So that is an overall look of just one of the things that keeps me organized. I certainly hope this sheds some light on what we do, and I hope it's going to help you, no matter what level you are, from t-ball to little league to youth baseball to high school. Any leg up that you can get to be organized, I believe you need to take advantage of it. Maybe this will help your players. Thanks for tuning in.